So I'm a little distracted today, obviously. Not used to having, well, just everything going on in the world right now is driving me nuts. And I was dealing with, we had a curfew last night in the Twin Cities, 3-county area. And, which didn't matter because I'm usually home after 7 anyway. But I just don't even know what to do anymore. Let me reset that real quick. Realize I didn't reset this. Fix that. It's just maddening, and I'm listening.
Hi, welcome to the show. I am the Hard Bastard. And,
oh, what the hell?
We have a Mad Al thing.
Well, hang on a second here. I accidentally left
so,
the mic open on that, so let's
time.
pause. Sorry. If you watch HB, he's also streaming right now. Go watch him after mine, or go watch him now and watch me later. It all works the same, okay? And if you have time when you watch someone later, put the speed on 1.5 times. It goes much faster, and you can still understand what most people are saying. Or if you're watching, who's the guy that's, is it the Majority Report or something like that? That dude who talks really slow. It sounds normal speed when you put him at 1.5 times. Anyway, obviously the topic of the day is young Mr. Right for at least part of the stream, maybe all the stream. And we're going to go through some of the things that people got right, people got wrong, stupid things people say, hot takes, cold takes, dumb takes, and bold takes. And that's about it. See you after the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawg Knight. Stop the music. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet, and welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel. It is Tuesday, the 13th of April, 2021. And, well, I haven't checked, but I know some buildings in Minneapolis and the suburbs have taken a little bit of a beating over the last day or two. Thanks to I'm going to call this the Twitter telephone storm concerning Daunte Wright. Now, I'm sure you've all heard about Mr. Wright, and who was shot in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota. Well, now we have, if you haven't seen it, we have the body cam footage, and it tells a story. I'm not going to show it all because I don't know what you can do as far as I don't know what you could do with the. I have no idea what I was going to say. I just had a Joe Biden there. Sorry about that.
You know the thing.
Anyway, so that's what we're going to talk about today. Also, yesterday I missed a super chat. Thank you, Lunatic, who donated through YouTube super chat, who says, chemical burn. I don't know what that means, but of course it was probably something I had said yesterday. So anyway, I am going to say good morning to everybody, and then we're going to jump into it. First in the chat today was Becca Fairley, who gets the bell. And thank you for tweeting out the show, as you always do. I did remember to tweet this show out. I should probably check my notifications. Becca and Maddie Walker, thank you for tweeting out the show. Also, quite a few have retweeted my tweet. Scribe Light, ex-Bubba Hotep, Zach Osborne, Septus Wolf, and Azarul. Azarul is on Twitter. Azarul, it says I am deaf. I don't know who that is, but thanks for retweeting my show. Oh, you didn't retweet it, you just liked it. And thank you, Tyler F. And I think I got everybody else. So thanks for retweeting. Share the show. Hit the arrow down there that gives you a place where you can send it out on whatever social media you like. And if you want to support the show in other ways, there's ways to do it in the description down below, and also right there in the chat you'll see a couple things pop up that'll tell you how you can support the show. But sending it out on social media and tweeting it is fantastic. That's a great way to support the show. It doesn't cost you anything except for maybe a short click in time. Anyway, also good morning James PFP Gunfox61, our administrator of the wonderful PDawgKnight Discord server. Also, good morning, Hig. And Cindy's probably there in the background somewhere. Good morning, Selecta Boy.
Yeah, boy.
Also, good morning, Asan, Mike Savage, Blarg. Good morning, Cultist4, Advocatus Diablo, the Devil's Advocate, Maniac Man. Nice to see you back. Nobody ever fucking learns. That's the problem. Yep, that's the truth. Also, boots and pants and boots and pants and boots and pants and boots and pants. And I had the kind of the disco preview music going today, if you didn't know what that meant. Also, good morning, Random American. I feel ya. I'm not sure how much of the real word I can take today. Also, good morning, Maddie and Ronan. And also, good morning, Yin Wolf. Also, Renee Mayette. Hello. Also, good morning to let's see, Jonathan Peterson, Jen T, what's up? Nice to see you. Also, good morning to the gayest person on YouTube. That's a name, not a description. Well, it's kind of both, but I don't know. Also, good morning, Lurking Gopher, Robert Bauman, ex-Bubba Hotep, Sapphire Dragon, Tarai Deos, Nobody Not Me. Also, good morning. I said Sapphire Dragon already. Anna Lynn is in the house. Jesse Leon. Johnny Hellcat, the original viewer of the Morning Night Live. Good morning, Jaded Emerald. Good morning. Oh, it jumped on me. I know it always going to do that. I should just always be prepared. Zablaze in the house. Good morning. Also, I think I got everybody. Selector Boy, I said already. Oh, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
I see you there. Also, Attack Alpaca. And looks like I'm scrolling all the way down. Also, thank you, Gunfox61. The first Streamlabs donation, and when it's a Streamlabs donation and you're the first one, Gunfox61, that
you are the new Streamlabs Superstar Donor of the Day.
Thank you very much, sir, and I appreciate that. Who says, Marty, either way the city will burn because of burn, loot, murder. Does that so their leaders can buy houses low and sell them high, because Marxists love to make their master money and or steal liberals' money too. Okay, thank you for donating to the show. Thank you for sponsoring the show. There are protesters who peacefully protest. And then there are the opportunists. And unfortunately, there are a lot of opportunists, and destroying things isn't a protest to me. But some people think that's a way to do it. I just don't. And I don't know what you're accomplishing. Are you making something better by destroying people's shit? I don't know. But it's obviously some people are out there with not too much time in their hands and not enough to do, and want to be a part of a movement. But is it the movement well guided, or is it misguided, or is it somewhere in between? This particular look. One of the problems is we have been trying to collectivize this trauma when each individual case is very different, and the fact that our media, it seems, completely and utterly intent on focusing like a laser beam on one certain type of trauma as far as making it national. And it doesn't help that on Twitter, when this happened, you got a whole lot of emotional misinformation, telephone game, people saying that this and this happened, it was because of an air freshener, because of this and that, and then you come to find out, well, his registration tabs on his car were wrong. And so it's gonna happen, but there is no, we're being sold an idea that people like me are being hunted down, and I refuse to believe that. Because if we were, then why are there so many of people like me in jail? Those people all got arrested. It's but here's the other take that I'm not going to accept today. It's his own fault. He got what he deserved. Well, that's not a good take either. Look, everything that happened once he decided to break away and get into that car happened because of what he did. But the idea that he deserved to die for what he did is not a good take either. Okay? Obviously, there was an officer involved who made a horrible mistake, and I can't even understand how that happened. There's so many things wrong. When I'm watching the very first time I'm watching that video, and we'll sort of see part of it, but the very first thing that I saw wrong in that video was, why was the officer who had to get out of the car having him stand right next to the car door? I don't think that's a procedure. And I've listened to a couple people who are officers talk about that. And they're like, yeah, that was just wrong anyway. Also the fact that this guy, so the officer that had him by the door, we'll get to it. He was in training, and supposedly the female officer who ended up shooting him was on the first 27 years was training him. And then the third officer, I think, was a supervisor, also training. Why did they not immediately, as soon as he had him out by the door of the car, and we'll see in a second, why didn't they immediately say, no, don't do it there. Let's move him to the back of the car, away from the car door? That was kind of dumb. 2 outstanding warrants. He should have just gone with the police. Yeah, I don't disagree with that, actually. And I don't know why they keep saying 2. There's a third one, at least that I saw. Now, maybe it's possible that I am incorrect, but when there was let's see, let me see if I can find it, because I tweeted this out in a series of tweets. There were 3 warrants were outstanding, because one was a felony aggravated robbery. Let's see, here they are. I'll put them on the screen. So these are the 3 outstanding warrants, and apparently he failed to appear at these. This would aggravated robbery in the first degree by that's by another jurisdiction. 2 felony warrants in Brooklyn Center, bench warrant in Brooklyn Center. These are old ones. Okay, so these are old ones. Never mind. But still, it's not. But so he had. But regardless, if you have a warrant, you could have a warrant for not paying a parking ticket, and they can either arrest you, or they can tell you go pay the ticket, or you will be arrested the next time you get stopped. Whatever. When they outstanding warrants, you're getting arrested. You don't fight with the police. Get back in your car. First of all, the other thing about that thing okay, let me go back to the car thing. Well, first, let's do this. Thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite, by the way.
That's right.
And Black Hebrew Israelite,
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar Donor of the Day.
I appreciate it. It says repeal the 19th because most women shouldn't be cops or firefighters. They get themselves killed or kill other people.
That's right.
That's right. I said it. Changed my mind. Okay. And again, the view. Oh, thank you very much for sponsoring the show. I appreciate it. The views of the commenters on the Morning Night Live are not necessarily the views of the Morning Night Live, but I'm with you sort of there. I don't know, maybe. Look, she's been on the force for 27 years. I'm curious if she's ever had to draw her weapon. Now, Brooklyn Center is not. It's not a terrible suburb, but there's a decent amount of crime in Brooklyn Center. If you're familiar with the Twin Cities, thank you again, Black Hebrew Israelite. I just don't know. It's because some cops may never have drawn a weapon in 27 years. There's a whole lot of things. She has the fact that she didn't know that realize that she was holding her service pistol and not a taser is a problem. I mean, there's so many things wrong. I don't know. All right. But I gotta tell you, did I miss a couple people? Hello, Jaeger Pony. How you doing? Good morning. Somebody else in there that I missed. I got Jaded Emerald. Oh, always lost and nothing else, aka alone. That's your acronym. You never said if you care if I use that as your acronym. I hope it's okay. First mistake was made by the driver, then male cop, then female cop made the biggest mistake. Yeah, three big mistakes as far as I'm concerned. So we're going to go through, like I said, we're going to go, I'm still on here. We're going to go through I bookmarked a bunch of stuff and we're just going to go through. Okay. So there is a police video of the event. If you haven't seen it, we'll look at part of it. I'm not going to show the whole thing. But it was released by, they say Minneapolis shooting, it was Brooklyn Center, Minnesota. 27 years in the force doesn't mean she had 27 years in the field. With experience, she could have been a desk jockey till the police got defunded and they threw her ass in the field. Possible? I don't know. We'll find out. There's so many things. I don't want to comment too much on things that I don't know. But I do know that at least from things I've watched in the past, your service revolver and your taser should be on different sides. Service revolver should be in a position where when you draw it, you can shoot immediately. And then your taser, they usually put them backwards so you can tell the difference between which one you're drawing. Even if you grab the wrong side, you'll know your taser's backwards. And also when you have your taser backwards, you can shift it to your shooting hand in a manner that's, easy to do. That way you don't have that problem. But there should be a weight difference between I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe someone out there knows. Is there a weight difference between a taser and say a smaller Glock? I don't know. Hello, nobody, not me. And hello, Gamer Valine. I just don't. And good morning, Justin Anderson, by the way. Thank you. Brooklyn Center Police Department released body cam footage on Monday from a shooting that happened on Sunday when Dante Wright, 20, tried to run from law enforcement. Police said Monday they believe the officer thought she was firing her taser when she shot the suspect. And by the video, you'll know that that's what she thought. Hello, Snoopy. Good morning. The police department said in a press conference release that the officers determined that the suspect had an outstanding warrant for his arrest. Andy No highlighted the alleged charges that Wright was wanted on, including running from law enforcement and a weapons charge. At one point, officers were attempting to take the driver into custody. Driver re-entered the vehicle. The officer discharged their firearm, striking the driver, police said. The vehicle traveled several blocks before striking another vehicle. Officers in pursuit and responding medical personnel attempted life-saving measures, but the person died at the scene. So here is, now it's a Daily Wire, so you can't play their video. So I do have it set up here also, because you know me, I like to be prepared. Let's see, let's scroll down here. So here's the video. Thank you, Bubba Hotep, real quick, for sponsoring the show on Streamlabs, who says, I almost had a warrant for my arrest because an automated system for a red light that read a plate wrong. It was 100 miles from me on a truck I didn't own. The license plate was one letter off my plate. Not good. But if you were arrested because of that warrant, what would you do? Would you fight the police and jump back in the car? Just saying. By the way, I'm wearing, you can't see it, but I'm wearing my Resist Foul System t-shirt that I just got yesterday. It came a lot faster than I expected. Because it's, Streamlabs is a little bit backed up when you do merch, but you can get those on PDawgKnight.live. Wait, down there. I can't remember where I am on the screen here. Hey, X-Bubba Hotep, thank you so much for sponsoring the show. So, let me stop this because it's probably already played through one. So here's the video, and we're not going to watch all. I'll skip the part where the actual shooting happens. But so what happened? he had expired plates. And so they pulled him over for expired plates. And then they went and got his driver's license. And he called his mother during this. He thought he was being pulled over for a one of those car air fresheners on his mirror or whatever, but actually he had expired plates. And then they went and got his license. They ran the license, realizing he had warrants. So this officer, this officer is an African American gentleman. In case someone thinks this has anything to do with race. That's the other problem I'm having with this. I'm seeing I'm watching the Twitter, especially black Twitter, going crazy, talking about, oh, they killed another black man. They killed another black man. Okay, they didn't kill him because he was a black man. Okay, they didn't even stop him because he was a black man. They stopped because he had expired plates. I've been stopped when I've had expired plates, and then they check my license. I'm like, oh, I didn't realize they're expired. And usually if they have expired, it's been a few days and I just forgot to do it. And I'm like, oh, well, I'll run over there right now and go get them changed. And they're usually pretty cooperative because I'm a nice guy. Thank you, Gunfox61 and Gunfox60 again. Gunfox61 once again.
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar Donor of the Day.
Thank you for sponsoring the show on Streamlabs, who says, this is what happens when equality standards-based hiring happen and not skill-based. Women don't belong in fire, police, and military combat groups. Repeal the 19th and add a knowledge test. Holy shit. I got all the misogynists giving donations. I'm just kidding. There are, it's, if you use the exact same standards and a person can pass those standards for the particular job, I don't particularly care. But do not lower the standards to make it so you can have more representation. I don't care about representation when I'm in a burning building as an almost 300-pound man and someone's got to try to carry me out if I pass out. I need one or two very strong people who can carry my fat ass down the stairs. I don't care about representation when that happens. And also, if I'm if I'm in a drop zone, in a hot war zone, I want people who can take that parachute down, cover their gear, and be able to carry people out of the situation when they need to. And what's between your legs don't matter if you can pass the tests. Unfortunately, the physical tests just happen to be more likely to be passed by people with something hanging rather than something inverted. I don't know if that doesn't sound right, but whatever. You know what I'm saying. And also thank you, X-Bubba Hotep, with the greatest caliber in my opinion, a 357. I would have been pulled over and probably had a nice conversation with the police. Most of them know me because I have to call them a lot because of my shitty job. Well, I'm sorry that you have a shitty job where you have to call the police a lot. That makes me nervous for you, not for in general. But yeah, even then, if it's a simple thing where you had something like that, would they arrest you or would they say, take care of this? You know what I mean? Especially with like speeding tickets and shit like that. Or insurance or something like that, if it's insurance. But he had warrants that he did not show in court. Type of warrants that you're supposed to go to court for, and he didn't show up in court, so they had warrants for him. Know what I'm saying? So, why run? Just take your lumps and go, Jumping in the car is not a good idea. But the take that he deserved what he got, and I've heard people say that he deserved what he got. No, he didn't. Is he responsible? Yes. Did he deserve to be dead? No. Stop saying that shit. Anyway, thank you, Johnny Hellcat, with the Streamlabs. What? Wait, what? With Streamlabs donation. A wise king once said, quote, "Women belong in the kitchen." Okay. All right, what the hell's going on here? Y'all trying to get me in trouble. I can see it right now. Thank you, Johnny Hellcat, for sponsoring the show. Also, Paul Farrell, thank you so much for the 556. A very good caliber for a rifle of the big black scary rifles. There's a difference in size and weight between a service pistol and a taser. That's I had to assume so. And although they might have a similar feel, but yeah, there's going to be a difference in size and weight. And so I just don't understand how she doesn't have. Let's watch the video. Okay. Y'all are killing me. New military unit, the Red Legion, all-female combat group. Have them sink their periods and send them out. Keep the men away so there's no friendly fire. The Red Legion. I did not say Red Legion. I said Red Legion. Thank you, Sean, and good morning. Welcome to the show. Good God, you guys. Good morning, Moonbase Radio. Almost all of the pics of him, he's flashing stacks of money. Why did he not use some of the cash to keep his vehicle up to date? Okay, look, again, I don't need to necessarily paint a picture of what this guy's like, okay? Who knows why he has pictures of him flashing stacks of cash? And is he, who knows? And of course, all of his relatives, oh, he was such a good boy. Oh, he was such a nice young man. Well, I don't know. I don't care. Don't run for the police when you're being arrested. It's not going to end well. But also, he doesn't deserve to be dead. And it's a tragic mistake. And I'm going to talk about my opinions about what should happen. So let's watch this video. So they stopped him. It expired plates. Went back. Check out his ID. Oh my God. I just thought of something. By the way, I do have a cup of reparations coffee here. Resist fascism. And he had an ID. I didn't think black people had IDs. That's wild. That's wild that this man has an ID. Anyway, okay, so they check his ID. Outstanding warrants. They're going to arrest him. And this officer, this large black man right here, who is in training, by the way. This is the officer training. The other woman is a training officer. And then they also had a supervisor with them observing. And so the officer has him get out of the car, and he's standing right here next to an open door of the car. That's mistake number one. Okay. And I've never been a cop. I watched cop shows on TV, and I also follow different former cops who are analysts on YouTube who analyze some of these stops. And I know that this is not a good idea. You never know what this person has in the car, that if you're trying to arrest them there, they can reach in the car and grab something and kill you with it, or they can wrestle themselves away and jump in the car like it happened in this case. But so first of all, they shouldn't be doing any of this work here. They should move him to the rear of the car with his hands in the car until they has the cuffs, because he's got his arms behind him, and then he starts fumbling with the cuffs. So you'll watch this. So he has his arms behind him, and he's having trouble getting the cuffs on, okay? And the other officer is walking up to help, okay? And again, so now he releases an arm because he was having problems with the cuffs. And so the other officer tries to help him. And okay, so right there, arms free, he's reaching in the car. Now, you don't know if he's reaching the car for something or if he's trying to jump in the car at first. And so immediately, I believe this female officer immediately reached for, it looked like she came around with him. Well, we'll watch it a little bit here. We'll stop it. Okay, so he tries to jump in the car, and they're trying to stop him. All right, she moves around. All right, and he's already in the car. Now that's, again, the car door's open. they're right next to it. It's crazy that that the first cop did that. And then so she comes around. Now, and if you hear what she just said, she says, I am going to tase you. I'm going to tase you. But it's now as you're watching, as I'm watching, so I'm like, wait a minute. That's not a taser. I mean, immediately, I saw it immediately. It wasn't a taser. She has 27 years of experience. That's why I don't think she's ever had to draw her gun in her 27 years. And someone said she might have been a desk jock. That may be true. And then she yells, taser. And I'm not going to show this part just because it's a YouTube thing. But, and then she says, I'm going to tase you. The cop takes his hand off to be ready for the man to be tased. She shoots, and maybe I can scroll past that. Okay, so somewhere, okay, I ended up showing it anyway. And then he drives away, and if you can hear them, she yells, oops, okay, not there. I just shot him. Oh my God, I just shot him. Like, surprised, clearly surprised in her voice, right? Yeah, no yellow means not a taser too. That's what I'm thinking. So she's in the moment, not thinking, I don't know. Obviously, I don't know what she's thinking. I'm going to tase you, but she shoots him. Now, I wish I had I don't know if I have the, hang on a second here. Oh, he doesn't have it in this thread. Okay, I thought I had the. Let me see if I got the Brooklyn Park mayor and the city people in Brooklyn Park. I thought I bookmarked all this. I may not have. Okay. Give me a moment. Okay, so we've got the press release from the Brooklyn Park. Oh, I see. I didn't even change that over anyway. Press release from Brooklyn Park Police Department. An investigation is underway following an incident earlier today during which a person died. A Brooklyn Center police officer initiated a stop for a traffic violation in the area of the 6300 block of Orchard Avenue in Brooklyn Center. It is Brooklyn Center, not Brooklyn Park. Shortly before 2 p.m., officers determined the driver of the vehicle had an outstanding warrant. At one point, as officers were attempting to take the driver to custody, the driver re-entered the vehicle. One officer discharged their firearm, striking the driver. The vehicle traveled several blocks before striking another vehicle. Officers in pursuit and responding to medical personnel attempted life-saving measures, but the person died at the scene. The head of the county medical examiner's office released the person's name following preliminary autopsy and family notification. A female passenger of the vehicle sustained non-life-threatening injuries. During the crash, she was transported to North Memorial Health Hospital in Robbinsdale. Occupants of the vehicle that was struck during the crash, occupants of the vehicle that was struck during the crash were uninjured. I don't know if you know what that means. Oh, the other vehicle. And then that was the body cam footage they released. So the mayor came out, and let me see what the hell happened here. Let me go back and find the mayor real quick. I had it. All right, here we go. Let me go. I'll just do it this way. Mayor, Brooklyn. There we go. So, well, there's a couple things that happened here. Okay, here's the Brooklyn Center mayor. And I got to tell you, I'm torn on this.
Let's say that our hearts are aching right now. We are in pain right now. And we recognize that this couldn't have happened at a worse time. We recognize that this is happening at a time when our community, when all of America, indeed all of the world, is watching our community, that we are all collectively devastated, and we have been for over a year now by the killing of George Floyd, and that we continue to be distressed as we go through the Derek Chauvin trial. So having a police-involved shooting happen in our community and killing a young man is heartbreaking and just unfathomable. And so our entire community is filled with grief at yesterday's police-involved shooting that led to the killing
I don't know why he's wearing the hat.
of Daunte Wright, a 20-year-old young African-American male. And my hearts go out to Daunte's family and to all those who are impacted by this tragedy in our community.
It shouldn't. Yeah.
And the world over.
Why they're impacted? Because
And while we wait,
they're impacted because we make them impacted. We highlight every single one of these very narrowly defined cases, even though when you compare them to total numbers, they're few and far between. But every single one of these narrowly defined cases gets magnified so that there are people who actually believe that this is extremely common. And it's I don't know. It's crazy to me. Good morning, HP Lovecraft. Nice to see you. And Bastard Beast. How you doing?
additional information from the BCA, which is leading this investigation, we continue to support members of our community as they gather peacefully amid our calls for transparency.
Yeah, no. Just didn't work out that way, unfortunately. Originally, they sort of gathered peacefully, except for the fact that they were destroying police cars within hours, within short time. And it wasn't the protesters. I think the opportunists were out there looting, breaking down windows of stores, looting stores. Obviously, they're opportunists. Although I think the ones who destroyed one of the Verizon stores, and they stole all the shit out of the Verizon store. All those phones are traceable, though. I hope they know. Every single one of them, they can be traced. Anyway, but even one of, because I work for Jimmy John's, they even looted our Jimmy John's. So somebody has a whole lot of mayonnaise, gallons of mayonnaise at their house. I don't know what you can't. What do you do with that much mayonnaise? You got to use it. Once you open it, it's a lot of fucking mayonnaise, a gallon of mayonnaise at a time. And but the peppers are really good. I can see having the peppers, and a lot of unsliced meat, unless they stole a slice or two. But I don't know if that happened. I just know our store was closed yesterday. Anyway, the one in Brooklyn Center. Anyway,
And accountability. Let me be clear.
Peaceful, no.
We will get to the bottom of this. We will do all that is within our power.
Okay.
To make sure.
It seems to me, again, the emphasizing of a black man again. Nothing about this incident was because he was a black man, in my opinion. Okay. You run the tags at a white man, and they don't. Are you see expired tabs? I see you get pulled over. You fire the cops and try to fight your way away because they find warrants. They're gonna do the same damn thing. And some people say, "Oh no, they only do this to black men." No. I've got lists and lists of people who've been killed by police since 2015, and a lot of people want us to talk about the proportionality. Well, when it comes to encounters, it seems that people who, for the most part, not all, because I'll look at Philando Castile, who did not resist arrest, although some people say, oh, he reached for his gun. Well, we don't know. That's what the opinion of the officer was. And now we just don't know because the girlfriend was high as hell. But in cases where people resist or fire at people, that's when they're most likely to get killed. And it almost, even in the unarmed cases, and that I have unarmed cases of black men, unarmed cases of white men, unarmed Hispanic men, there is still some form of struggle most of the time. Or in some cases, they were unarmed, but they were driving a car at an officer and got killed. So unarmed doesn't always mean not dangerous. Anyway, so interesting here. I'm going to get going back here, though. Apparently, the Brooklyn Center city manager was fired, however, because he was talking about due process for the officer. Brooklyn Center city manager Kurt Bogany has been fired after he publicly disagreed. I didn't hear him disagree with the mayor, but publicly disagreed with Mayor Mike Elliott's assertion that the police officer who fatally shot a black man in the Minneapolis suburb should immediately be fired. Always funny, too. If this officer were a white man, they would probably label him as a white police officer, right? But I'm curious. I haven't. You notice there was very little when you talk about the officer. They don't talk about the officer being a woman too much. I mean, I think they do occasionally, but it's just an interesting side thing to me. As city manager, Bogany controlled the police department. Speaking earlier to reporters, he said the officer who shot 20-year-old Daunte Wright would get due process after the shooting. I wish they had the video here handy. He said, all employees working for the city of Brooklyn Center are entitled to due process with respect to discipline, he said. But the mayor, unhappy at the public disagreement, quickly took the police department under his control, and the Brooklyn Center City Council voted to fire Bogany. They fired a black man for telling that you might get due process. That's strange. They voted to fire Bogany, a longtime city employee, during an emergency meeting. Effective immediately, our city manager has been relieved of his duties, and the deputy city manager will be assuming his duties moving forward. Elliott wrote on Twitter, I will continue to work my hardest to ensure good leadership at all levels of our city government. Mayor Elliott said the city council had voted to give his office command authority over law enforcement. Elliott called the shooting deeply tragic and said the officer should be fired. We cannot afford to make mistakes that lead to the loss of life of other people. He said, we're going to do everything we can to ensure that justice is done and our communities are to be remain whole, or whatever he said there. This will streamline things and establish a chain of command and leadership, he wrote on Twitter, adding that the deputy city manager would take over Bogany's duties. Now, he may be able to win a, what do you call it? Not an unlawful discharge city suit against the city. Whatever you call it. Earlier on Monday, both Elliott and Bogany had addressed potential disciplinary action toward. Now, look, here's the thing. I don't understand why they were mad about due process. Due process doesn't mean that they're just going to be that it's going to be wiped away. Probably in due process, wrongful termination. Thank you, Somnambule Nation. Due process just means they're going to go through the process before they fire her. She should be fired. In fact, she probably could face criminal prosecution, even though it was a mistake on her part. It was almost like, because, and by the way, some of the riots that have started happening. Hello, Richard. Nice to see you. Some of the because the coroner ruled the young man's death as a homicide, and now we have a weird way of looking at the word homicide. Homicide just means that a person was killed by another human. But because of television and TV shows, we always think of homicide as murder. And murder and homicide do not necessarily mean the same thing, right? In this case, someone already said manslaughter. Whatever form of negligent homicide or manslaughter, whatever, I got a feeling she's going to be charged and convicted of. It's carelessness on her part. Obviously not intent to kill this young man. But you know what? On Twitter, they just love killing black men. No, she didn't even mean to. And look, everything that happened once he broke himself away and jumped in that car is a result of that. But again, there are people out there saying, he deserved it. No, he didn't deserve it. Okay. What he deserved was to be taken into custody and have to go through the trial. And he would have also had another resisting arrest charge on him. That's what he deserved. And unfortunately, due to this, terrible, whatever she doing, misunderstanding, mistake on her part, she killed a man. And officers should be held accountable for negligent actions. Clearly a negligent action on her part. She somehow didn't figure out while she was standing, I'm going to tase you, that she was holding a pistol in her hand and not a taser. And I know it's heat of the moment, but that's why they make tasers. Generally, they make tasers in that bright yellow color and not the same color as a gun, so you can tell them apart. They weigh different. They should be on the different sides of your body. One should be backwards so that you don't have a habit. You're like, it should feel wrong when you grab for it. The pistol comes off your dominant hand side. It should feel right when you grab it. It should be ready because you need to be able to do it very quickly. I don't know. Jesus, just crazy. And it's not, he wasn't. Oh man. Anyway, let's kind of move on here. So we finished with that. Let's go to the next one here. We talked, Andy, no. Oh, here's another. Okay, so today we're talking about, good God. Hot takes, cold takes, dumb takes, bold takes. Well, then we have our very alert and cognitively sharp president of the United States, who, when he was talking about it, well, let's just listen to him because listen what Joe Biden says. Let me full screen this before I do this. This is another one. I don't know why Daily Wire doesn't seem to be able to have sound in their embedded video. It just drives me nuts. So let me open this where it is embedded, and there we go.
On what happened.
So he's talking. I don't even know who's here with him other than Kamala's over in this corner here, and he's talking to some other people here. Listen to Joe Biden, because there's something in this take that really annoys me. Now, again, and apparently he has seen the body cam video by now, apparently, because he mentions it.
Briefly on what happened in Minnesota last night. We've spoken to the governor, the mayor, spoken to the authorities there.
By the way, the governor pissed me off too.
And And I haven't called Dante Wright's family, but our prayers are with their family. It's really a tragic thing that happened. But I think we got to wait and see what the investigation shows.
Okay, now, that's the only thing he should have said. Wait and see what the investigation shows. But he continues. By the way, good morning, K-Show. Good morning, People's Front of Canada. Now, listen to what he follows that sentence up with.
And the entire investigation. You all watched, I assume as I did, the film, which is fairly, the body cam, which is fairly graphic. The question is, was it an accident? Was it intentional?
Say what? Wait. What? If it was what?
The question is, was it an accident? Was it intentional?
Was it an accident or was it intentional? Really? You watched the body cam footage. First of all, even to suggest it was intentional. Now look, she did intentionally pull the trigger on a weapon that was in her hand. And more than once she mentioned taser. Taser. And she even gave the other officer a warning, taser, so he could remove his hands. And then it turned out to be her pistol. But intentional what, Joe? What does that mean? But, he's not done yet.
That remains to be determined by a full-blown investigation. But in the meantime, I want to make it clear again, there is absolutely no justification, none, for looting, no justification for violence.
Okay.
Peaceful protest, understandable. And the fact is that, we do know that the anger, pain, and trauma that exists in the black community in that environment is real. It's serious and it's consequential. But
he's mentioning that no violence or looting, but peaceful protests is understandable. Now, somebody was suggesting that he was suggesting that people protest. Nah, that's a dumb take. Okay, he was just saying people need to remain peaceful, but I'm still curious about that whether it was an accident or it was intentional. Like what Joe, what part are you asking was it intentional? That he was just out there to kill a brother? Or she was she just out there to kill a brother? I don't know if that's it. I just don't. Anyway, let's see. They had a transcript there. So, but I the Daily Wire suggests Minneapolis police shooting could have been intentional. I don't know if he was suggesting. Well, he said it, and that even just that inflames people. Okay, that you're saying, we're not sure if it was an accident or if it wasn't intentional. Well, I don't know. She's intentionally trying to stop a person who had a warrant from fleeing. Now, but he didn't deserve to die. Let's see what else do I have here. I have a whole bunch of little clips here. Oh shoot, that one refreshed and I don't know what happened there. So it looks like, let's see if I can fix that. Oh, and speaking of dumb takes. So someone who was watching that video decided to say, plenty of black men comply, and that, this person said comply, don't die. This one says plenty of black men comply and then die at the hands of cops. But you know this. It's all about genocide to you Trump sheep. Really? That's a dumb take. Okay, that's a dumb take. It's not a bold take. It's a dumb take. You know, you have, unless you can show me the incidents, okay? There are cases where that is, and there are cases when there are. It's not about the race, because I've seen cases. Remember the kid who was in the hallway of some building, and they're screaming at him, and he's on the floor, and he makes himself prone, and they shot him anyway. Those are bad cops. There are bad cops and bad shootings. Or Walter Scott wasn't complying. He was running away, but they shot him in the back. Those are bad cops. In fact, that cop is in jail. And Philando Castile, I don't know what happened there. You know, the cop says he was reaching for the gun. I don't know if it's hard to tell from the video what was going on. But he's no longer a cop. But the idea that, this is suggesting that there's a black genocide by police officers. No. These tiny fraction of amount of people who are killed by police officers compared to other forms of people being homicided is quite small. But it is sensational, and it is projected constantly. All right. Thank you, Johnny Hellcat. Another 57 said, did he say protest peacefully to the Capitol? Right. Oh, goodness gracious. He is inciting an insurrection right now. Joe Biden just incited insurrection. I think maybe the House managers need to get to work, because he just he is inciting an insurrection. Let's see. Do I have more on this? Biden calls for peaceful protest. Following police shooting a black man in Minneapolis. They always have to emphasize black man in these articles, but they don't ever do it unless it's black man and a white police officer or a police officer. Dog Whistle play Biden's remarks backwards, and he says kill cops, ACAB loot. Oh my God. Anyway, let me just check. I thought I had a couple more of these. Let's see, HB. Body cam shows Dante Wright fleeing arrest. Officer shouting taser before shooting him with a pistol. Again, so even in the Daily Caller article on this. So the headline, body cam shows Dante Wright fleeing arrest, officer shouting taser before shooting him with service pistol. No mention of of course, this is Daily Caller, not mentioning the race of anybody. Police released body cam footage showing that the fatal police shooting in Minneapolis suburb left a 20-year-old dead, with police saying the officer meant to grab her taser. Oh, finally we used a pronoun. We have a pronoun. Alert. Hello, Mass Creation Broadcast. Video footage shows an unidentified officer attempting to handcuff Dante Wright. Another officer approaches and appears to begin assisting the officer. Don't do it. One officer can be heard telling Wright as he attempts to handcuff him in a very unprofessional spot to do so. Wright can be seen in the video trying to break loose. He eventually jumps back to his car as the officer continues to try to apprehend Wright. Now from the driver's seat of Wright's car, another officer whose body camera the footage appears to be from screams that she would tase Wright. I'll tase you. I'll tase you. Taser, 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 taser. The officer then appears to fire a single shot into Wright's midsection before Wright drives off. I just shot him, the officer can be heard saying in the video in apparent disbelief. Brooklyn Center Police Chief Tim Gannon told reporters during a press conference Monday that the officer meant to draw her taser, but instead drew her firearm. Here's the other part that they kept saying yesterday. Let's listen to him directly.
As I watched the video and listened to the officer's commands, it is my belief that the officer had the intention to deploy their taser, but instead shot Mr. Wright with a single bullet. This appears to me, from what I viewed and the officer's reaction and distress immediately after, that this was an accidental discharge.
Okay. That little phrase right there. No, it was not an accidental discharge. Okay? An accidental discharge is you drop your weapon and it discharges, or you have a hair trigger and you accidentally discharge, right? No, it was an intentional discharge of an accidental weapon, I would say. She had the wrong weapon in her hand, but he keeps saying accidental discharge.
That resulted in the tragic death of Mr. Wright.
And during that press card, he says accidental discharge over and over and over. Brooklyn Center Police Chief Tim Gannon tells the media his officer intended to draw her taser during the arrest, but instead drew her service weapon and fired a single shot. It appears to be this was an accidental discharge that resulted in tragic death of Mr. Wright. Authorities said Wright was pulled over for having expired registration, and we know that already. And officers then determined he had an outstanding warrant for his arrest. According to the Associated Press, after Wright was shot, he drove several blocks before crashing, according to the report. Records show Wright was wanted after he had failed to appear in court on charges. He fled from an officer and had an illegal gun during a June encounter. Now, another hot take from someone I used to listen to quite a bit, but I can't stand listening to him now because he just whatever, who is saying, well, if you're a Second Amendment person and you then you should be mad that he had a warrant for an illegal gun. That's not exactly what it was. Okay. It was having an illegal gun during an encounter with Minneapolis police, as in anyway, protests. Plus, he also fled arrest another time, so that's what his warrants were for. Protests erupted Sunday night and lasted through early Monday morning. Protesters threw rocks and other objects at police at the Brooklyn Center Police Department, and at least 20 businesses were looted. Wright's mother, Katie Wright, condemned the violence according to the AP. All the violence, if it keeps going, it's only going to be about the violence. We need it to be about why my son got shot for no reason. Okay. Oh, there's another one. He got shot for no reason. He got shot because of his actions. Now, that is not the same as saying he deserved to be ended. Not at all. All I'm saying, the idea that he was shot for no reason is also false. That's another take. There was no reason for him to be shot. Well, no, he was shot because the officer was an idiot. Or at least not an idiot, but at least the officer failed badly and deserves to be punished for it. But there was a reason that he was in that situation where he could be shot. That is absolutely on him. Two things can be right at the same time. The officer failed at her duty. My personal opinion, should be fired and prosecuted for her negligence. And Dante Wright is responsible for everything that happened to him. They can both be correct, and I believe they are. At least that's my take on this. The idea for no reason. No, there's a reason. There's absolutely a reason. She just had her gun instead of her taser in her hand. But there absolutely was a reason why he got shot. We need to make sure it's about him and not about smashing police cars. It's too late now. It's all about the protests. What's on the news? The protests, the violence, the looting, the burning. And then an investigation remains ongoing. Well, thank goodness there's an investigation that's remaining ongoing. Do I have any more? Minneapolis mayor declares a state of emergency. Announces curfew as Minneapolis braces for riots. Well, not just in Minneapolis. I know all of Hennepin County, where my daughter and my son both live, and my son lives in Minneapolis. I have to call him to make sure his area of town is okay. I think my daughter lives far away enough from this that probably not affected her. My county, which is an adjacent county, and the county that holds St. Paul, there's 3-county area that all had a curfew last night, 7 p.m. At least I think so. I got an alert on my phone for it. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry has declared a state of emergency in the city Monday night, and together with St. Paul Mayor Melvin Carter has announced a curfew start at 7 p.m. as the city braces for further riots following a police shooting in Brooklyn Center, a suburb of Minneapolis. We know what the shooting. We know all about the shooting. The body cam footage was released. It believes that the intention to deploy a taser. We know that. Not a whole lot of new information in this. But yeah, Governor Walz. It goes without saying that it's devastated and heartbreaking that we're here once again to address the death of a young black man with an interaction with police. Is that the only people who've died at police hands in Minnesota? We're just another black man? Anyway, Governor Tim Walz said in his press conference Monday, alongside Minneapolis and St. Paul officials who urged would-be rioters and looters to remain indoors. Wait a minute. What do you mean would-be rioters and looters? Are you suggesting that there would be rioters and looter? Is that racist?
That's racist!
As the world is watching during the trial of Derek Chauvin, the death of George Floyd, emotions and trauma are high in our state. Walz also pledged to follow President Joe Biden's advice and begin a full investigation into the incident to determine whether the shooting was an accident. You know, what if it hadn't been and he was shot because he was fleeing in a vehicle? Now, we can deduce from the audio on that body cam footage that she clearly had a different weapon in her hand than she thought she did. But what if she had shot him? That's an interesting thought. For our black communities in particular, I know the effects of the last 12 months have been just a torrential floodgate of all the pain that has been felt over the hundreds of years. Well, first of all, I don't know any of us who are hundreds of years old. I really can't internalize anything that hasn't happened to me. I can certainly internalize things that are around me, but I'm not in anguish because I'm not in fear. I don't have... What the hell are you talking about, Jacob Fry? This is Jacob Fry, the Minneapolis mayor. This anguish that we're all suffering cannot translate into violence. Oh, it can. Destroying livelihoods, destroying locally owned business that our communities have poured their hearts and souls into for decades. Well, at least he's trying to quell the violence and the unraveling and sacrifices that people have made for, I think, so long that cannot and will not be tolerated. We must see peace tonight, Fry continued. Well, didn't happen. Walz then echoed Fry's no-tolerance approach to riding. Yeah, they had the National Guard out and ready, I got to tell you, which is surprising. Let's see. For those who choose to go out and, as Mayor Carter said, to exploit these tragedies for destruction and personal gain, the opportunist that I speak of quite often, you can rest assured that the largest police presence in Minnesota history and coordination will be prepared. You will be arrested, you will be charged, and there will be consequences for those actions. And I think they arrested 40 people last night, is what I heard this morning. It might be more. It is not debatable. You are not making the case. You are hurting the case. You are undermining the grief. You hear it from the families time and time again. Don't you dare step into our space where we're trying to enact change through our system. Well, that's some pretty hard words by Governor Walsh. The National Guard was also called out Sunday night to help keep the peace and is likely to assist Minneapolis and Brooklyn Center law enforcement Monday night, which they did do. Thank you, GunFox61. For the Deuce in Streamlabs. Marty, shilling the Discord. Next level ranting, spicy news is being dropped. Oh boy, the FTGs are real in there. Lots of news. Have fun trying to keep blood from shooting from your eyes and keep a few rolls of duct tape to keep your skull from exploding. Thank you, GunFox61. Yeah, definitely check out the Discord. I often am able to pull FTGs out of there for my Thursday show. If you've never been here for FTG Thursday. By the way, if you are new, hit the subscribe button and click the bell. And thanks for dropping in. Good morning, Ace and Research Directorate, and check your logic. How you doing? And Austin Sand. He says after defunding his apartment. Yeah, isn't that right? Wait. So now there's an instant response. Yeah, it's amazing. They got the national. You're right, Gamer of Lane, who says, "Oh wait, there's an instant response." Oh, they had the National Guard out. They had all their officers out in riot gear. They were out and quick last night. There still was a lot of protesting, and I don't know. I don't have the details of what happened last night. I know Sunday night. Sunday night there was or was it last night? No, the night before there was definitely a lot of stores broken into and looting and so on going on in Brooklyn Center. I don't know if it's translated over to Minneapolis yet. All right, let's see. Do I have any more for now? Biden says peaceful protests are understandable. After Minneapolis police shooting. It wasn't Minneapolis, but anyway. Joe Biden is talking about peaceful protests in the aftermath of the fatal shooting of Daunte Wright in the Minneapolis suburb. I think we've got to wait and see what happens, what the investigation shows. The entire investigation. You've all watched, I assume, as I did, the body cam, which is fairly graphic. We've already showed this video. Never mind. While Biden did specifically distinguish between looting and violence versus peaceful protests, last year the media seemed intent on conflating the peaceful protests and acts of violence. CNN and MSNBC, for example, specifically avoided calling the George Floyd riots. MSNBC reporter Ali Vesci famously called the riots mostly peaceful, and yes, there were mostly peaceful protests last night. Anyway, this is just some comparisons to prior peaceful protests. I'll leave. Oh, by the way, all the articles and video and whatnot that I show during this show will be included in the description down below. I usually update it during the outro, and it'll all be on one link that will have all the links to every single thing we touch on today. So fret not if you didn't catch what I said, or you want to use it for research for something else you're doing or a project you're doing, it will be there. Thank you, GunFox61, for being here. Well, I got to get ready for work, so I hope you have a good day at work, sir. If someone pulls you over, don't let them know about your warrants. So another hot take. Democratic Representative Rashida Taliban calls. Oh, I'm sorry. Rashida Tlaib. Did I say Taliban? Sorry. Democratic Representative Rashida Tlaib calls for no more policing or incarceration. Democratic Representative Rashida Tlaib reacted to the police-involved shooting death of Daunte Wright, calling for an end to policing, incarceration, and militarization. Well, Ms. Tlaib, Representative Tlaib, the people who live in dangerous neighborhoods don't agree with you. But you do you. Quote, She says it wasn't an accident. Talib wrote in a tweet regarding the death of Wright that ignited the destruction and looting of several businesses in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota, late Sunday night. Policing in our country is inherently and intentionally racist. I disagree. Respectfully, I disagree. Daunte Wright was met with aggression and violence. Really? Did she watch the arrest? Did she watch the body cam footage? They were trying to arrest a man with an outstanding warrant. Not with violence, although I am done with those who condone government-funded murder. Well, I don't condone what happened at all. I don't condone that he was shot and killed. Now, was he responsible for everything that happened to him when he decided to resist arrest? Yes, none of those things would have happened had he not. Did he deserve to die? No. Did he deserve to be shot? No, not necessarily. But it may have come to that anyway. Let's say the taser didn't work and he fought with him more or pulled, a weapon from his car, which he didn't. But let's imagine that. Again, this is one of those cases, like same with George Floyd. The officer's responsibility is to bring the suspect in so that they can have due process through our court system. When one clearly resists arrest, some of the responsibility of what happens to them is theirs. Now, is it all theirs? No. If something wrong, illegal, or otherwise happens, that should not happen, but they're still responsible for what happens when they do that. And then other people might be responsible or liable for the actions they take beyond that point also. That's why I'm saying, yes, this officer should be fired. Yes, I think this officer should be prosecuted. Negligent manslaughter, or whatever you call it, negligent homicide. But that has nothing. The young man isn't dead because he was black. Not at all. Anyway, Talib went one step further with her frustration, called for an end to policing in America, claiming the institutions across America can't be reformed. No more policing? Really? Okay. Let's start with the Capitol Police, Ms. Talib. That's policing. Okay, let's start with fine. Let's start with the Capitol Police. Start from the top down. Let's get rid of the Secret Service, the Capitol Police. That's policing. Or, Ms. Talib, if your home is robbed in your hometown or wherever you live she's from Connecticut or something like that. She's from Michigan. Wherever you're from, if your house gets robbed, nope. No more policing. Even though these man bites dog events happen, which this clearly is a man bites dog event, these cases are rare, even though they're splashed across news screens all over America when they have certain demographic tendencies. She also retweeted her page that mocked the accidental death of Wright, which stated, "You spelled murder wrong again." Well, no, murder is a specific thing. Murder has an intent. You know what? Do you think she wanted to murder that young man? I don't think so. According to reports, Wright was allegedly taking off in his car after an attempt to arrest him when another officer at the scene shot him. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Following Wright's death, multiple violent riots and storms of looters took to the streets, and resulting in loss and damage to several businesses in the area. Yeah, well, that's that. Looks like this is going to be the only topic I talk about today. Another hot take. Well, this is Breitbart. Shooting deaths of Dawg Wright sparks looting, destruction of Minnesota businesses. Another political commentator, Dinesh D'Souza, posted a phone video on Rumble Monday that shows the destruction and looting of businesses in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota on Sunday night after a black man with an outstanding warrant allegedly tried to elude police during a traffic stop and was shot and killed. Yeah, that's a little more accurate of what happened, as opposed to they just shot him for no reason. Not that he needed. Now again, I'm not condoning her actions. She fucked up. The officer shot Dawg Wright, a 20-year-old black man, for allegedly taking off in his car after an attempt to arrest him. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Protesters gathered near the site, but dozens of others took advantage of the chaos and smashed windows to enter and loot area businesses. Okay, I don't need to quote the people who are... Okay, they quote some people who are doing the looting and whatnot. Interesting article on the American Thinker on due process, which is no more in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota. On Sunday, a Brooklyn Center, Minnesota police officer was trying to tase Dawg Wright, who was violently resisting arrest. Let me ask you this. We saw the video there. Would you consider that violently resisting arrest? Just out of curiosity, yes or no? I'm going to wait 5 seconds while you're typing, and I'm going to say, well, yeah, he did. He fought away from the officers and tried to leave in a car, or was trying to leave in a car and fighting them back when they were supposed to be arresting him. Within hours, the Minneapolis suburb, which is almost 30% black, was threatening police, rioting, and looting. That's barely a headline nowadays. What was more interesting and born and raised American citizen, more disturbing, was the fact that when Brooklyn city manager insisted that a police officer still get the benefits of due process, the city council promptly fired him. During a press conference on Monday, when the reporter was asked Mayor Mike Elliott if he was going to dismiss the officer who killed Wright, Elliott said yes. Turned out, though, that Elliott was not the only one who would be making the decision. Instead, when a reporter pressed for details, Elliott acknowledged that under our form of government, the city manager, who is here, actually has control over the police department, not the mayor, and asked his city manager, Kurt Bogany, to speak. Now, Bogany is a black man, so let's not make this a race thing. Bogany made his position clear. All employees working for the city of Brooklyn are entitled to due process with respect to discipline. This employee will receive due process, and that's really all I can say today. Did Bogany say this officer did nothing wrong? Did he say that? Did this officer say we're going to sweep this under the rug? Did he say that? All he said that he was going to exercise due process for the officer, which I think they're doing anyway. Yeah, they have her on, because they still have her on administrative leave. Did you know that? They put her on administrative leave. So clearly that's part of the process. And they keep saying, we're going to continue to investigate this incident, which means that's part of the due process. But you're not allowed to say that. When a reporter pressed for a more inflammatory statement because of the valuation of black life, quote unquote, Bogany doubled down. I understand and appreciate the comment that you made and why you said it, but if I were to answer that question, I would be contradicting what I said a moment ago, which is to say that all employees are entitled to due process, and after that, due process discipline will be determined. If I were to say anything else, I would be actually contradicting the idea of due process. Due process is the underpinning of the rule of law. Those in power cannot treat people in an arbitrary and capricious manner. Instead, there are rules for dealing with problematic situations, whether criminal accusations or workplace wrongdoing, especially in the context of government employment. Due process is a double-sided shield that, in addition to protecting Americans from those in power, also protects them from the passions of the mob. A man like this, who can stand for the rule of law when the mob is baying for blood, is a treasure and should be cherished. In a fraught situation, he placed profoundly important principles ahead of any personal feelings that he might have had regarding the events that just put his city on the map. It turned out that the city council would have liked to cherish him, but the members were too frightened to do so. Immediately after the conference, the council convened in an emergency session and promptly fired Dawg Knight. As one council member stated explicitly, the council's decision was made entirely to appease the mob. Quote, at a virtual workshop, Councilmember Chris Lawrence Anderson said she voted to remove the city manager because she feared for her property and retaliation by protesters if she had voted to keep him. He was doing a great job. I respect him dearly, she said. I didn't want repercussions at a personal level. Well, we're witness what happens when leftism has eaten away the underpinnings of a constitutional system governed by the rules of law and due process. In place of those profoundly civilizing principles, we are looking at a country in which guilt and innocence, the punishment and reward, are determined by the passions of the mob and an arbitrary values placed upon in-groups and out-groups in American society. It's a very dangerous time in our history. Why, yes, it is. All right, now, I have a bunch of stuff open here. LA County Sheriff calls on National Guard to prepare for riots. They're even preparing in Los Angeles because there have been protests and riots around the country, similar to St. George. And then also the Chauvin trial has kind of been affected by this, but kind of hasn't. The judges declined to sequester the jury in the Chauvin trial following the shooting and riots in Minneapolis. Judge Peter Cahill denied a request from the defense to sequester the jury in the trial of Derek Chauvin following a fatal shooting in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota, and unrest in Minneapolis. This is going to be I feel a mistrial here. I'm just starting to feel it. Defense attorney Eric Nelson filed a motion Monday morning to sequester the jury after 20-year-old Daunte Wright was shot and killed Sunday by police during a traffic stop in the suburb of Brooklyn Center, resulting in protests and rioting. When a jury gets sequestered, juries are isolated to avoid exposure to outside information, which could taint their opinions on the case. Nelson argued that the jury should be sequestered because several of the jurors had connections to Brooklyn Center, including one juror who lives there, Fox 9 News reported. He said that the shooting and the unrest could influence the jury's decision on the trial. However, Cahill denied the motion, calling the Chauvin trial a totally different case. Well, I guess we'll see. And then his mother, Katie Wright, said that her son called her Sunday afternoon and told her that the police had stopped him for having air fresheners in his rearview mirror, which is illegal in Minnesota, according to an NBC News report. Brooklyn Center Police Chief Tim Gannon said during the Monday press conference, however, that Wright was pulled over because his car had expired tags. According to NPR News, Katie Wright told NBC News that she heard police officers say, "Daunte, don't run." Well, that's in the body cam. The only other thing that I wanted to get to today, and I haven't, I have a few minutes here. There are a couple other random news items that'll be in the links today. Okay. Here's a take that Matt Walsh over at the Daily Wire wrote a piece. Over 500 people have been killed by cops since 2020. And there's been no rioting over those deaths. Well, because nobody knows about them. And that's a problem. Okay. Obviously, we're not getting the same attention to when the demographics are different. And it's funny because I almost how do I say this delicately? Sometimes it almost feels like somebody in the media or a number of people in the media absolutely want to constantly pick at the scabs over and over and over. And they just like the blood. Metaphorically, I am saying. And so everyone has their way to, they have their scab pickers. They have their fingernails, and, and they're all just picking their fingernails at the scabs. And it's just, it's disheartening. It's disheartening. I know what my life was like as an 80s kid. And, was everything perfect? No, but there certainly was, it seems like we have gone completely backwards from the 80s and 90s, when we seem to have a sense of more unity and people just getting along. And somebody said, you know what? Things are going too smooth. Let's screw things up. Let's make everything about different things. I don't get it. Let me check something real quick here. Oh, yeah, I've seen this. I'll touch on that another day. I wanted to get to Brandon Tatum's video on this, and I've run out of time. But Brandon Tatum, who I like Brandon Tatum. I mean, I don't agree with everything Brandon Tatum says, but I thought he got it. Let's put it this way. He got it half right. And, it didn't even show up in my, it doesn't show up here. Oh, here it is. It's a 14-minute long video, so I'm going to have to do this later. I may do a short stream this afternoon just to talk about Brandon Tatum's take on this. Like I said, I think he got it half right, but there's some things he says that drive me and other, not just conservatives, but let's be more specific, conservatives who have more melon than crazy. And clearly then Black Twitter hates Brandon Tatum. But Brandon Tatum seems to have some of the same goals as I do, but I just don't know that we get there the same way. So we'll check out that maybe this afternoon, maybe tomorrow. But I really want to go through his video because I want to tell you what pisses me off and what I agree with. And I think it's important to, maybe not to you, but it's important to me. So we'll check that out tomorrow. For now, though, here's what I'd like you to do. I would like you to think about thumbs, okay? Not just any thumbs, but a thumb that is in the upward direction. And if it was just an upward direction, that'd be great, but it'd have to be the type that you can click when you're on a computer or a cell phone or a flat, whatever, smartphone, right? And you take that thumb and you put either an arrow over it, or if you're on a cell phone, you just touch it and it changes colors. It lights up to the beautiful hue of the sky. And so if you do that right now, before you do anything else, that would be fantastic. Please enjoy the thumbs on your screen. Anyway, also, if you like what we do, share the stream out. Hit the share arrow down here, or you put it on your favorite social media. You can cut and paste by hitting that share arrow. You can copy it, or you can just click on one of the different social media choices and you can share this out. Also, if you're here on watching on replay, or even if you're watching live, come back and throw a comment in the comments section. Also, if you want one of these fantastic Resist Fascism cups, t-shirts, hats, you can do that by going at PDawgKnight.live and clicking the merch tab in the upper right hand corner. That's it for now. We may or may not have a bonus stream this afternoon, but for this particular stream, I just gotta go. Thanks for being here. Thank you, people who sponsor the show, including today's sponsors, Gunfox 61, Black Hebrew Israelite, ex-Bubba Hotep, Johnny Hellcat, Paul Farrell, and now Tall Person, who just threw a Streamlabs sponsored dollars in the mix, who says, Happy Scrabble Day. Thank you so much for the last minute donation. Yes, you even said that in your chat. That's it for today, people. I gotta go right now, though. My name is PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.